All right. Well, the Senate is set to vote on Trump's big, beautiful bill, and the White House would like it to be signed by July 4th.
And we're carrying out a revolution of common sense, and all of that is packed into this one big, beautiful bill. It delivers the largest middle and working class tax cuts in U.S. history. It keeps America safe by funding the largest ever one-time investment in border security. It's enough to reverse the Biden border invasion. And every single Democrat is against that. Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, and we are counting on them to get the job done.
But what actually makes it into the final vote might not be decided by senators or even people who are elected. Look, it doesn't matter if you have a majority if you're not willing to wield that power, or if some bureaucrat can decide what can or can't be in certain bills that are actually being voted on. You ever heard of someone named Elizabeth McDonough? Well, me neither. She was appointed as Senate Parliamentarian by far-left Harry Reid and has been there since 2012. Her role is literally deciding unilaterally what can, or should, I should say, be taken out of these bills under the guise of procedure. Now, according to the Senate, quote, the parliamentarian advises the presiding officer, senators, and their staffs on all matters requiring interpretation of the the standing rules of the Senate. And this kind of illustrates my frustration with the Republicans, particularly Senate Republicans, because it's supposed to be a nonpartisan advisory position that can be overruled. It's advice, not law. So I just got a couple questions for John Thune. If this is, in fact, nonpartisan and just an advisory position, why, under the Byrd rule, she has removed or forced the Republicans' majority-held Senate, by the way, Republican Senate, she forced a measure to limit federal judges' ability to enforce injunctions or contempt findings against the Trump administration. She ruled this violates the Senate rules because it's not budgetary. Oh, really? It is if a judge is ruling that Trump can't defund USAID or something else. I mean, it seems awful budgetary for me. Thanks for your input, lady. John Thune should have overruled that one right away. She also put restrictions on Medicaid provider taxes, which would have saved $250 billion. Again, seems budgetary to me. Thanks, but no thanks. Overruled. She nixed provisions to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, to restrict food assistance programs known as SNAP and the eligibility for non-citizens. She also canned the bill's effort to drop electric vehicles used by the U.S. Postal Service. After she was asked for it to be tweaked, why is she asking senators to tweak things? She then approved it. Oh, really? Gee, thanks. She also blocked, under her non-authority, a measure allowing states to handle border security and immigration enforcement. She also blocked removing the short-barreled rifles and suppressors from the NFA, which is the National Firearms Act, which is a budgetary item because it's a $200 tax stamp per item. Tax, budget, same thing. And Republicans just folded. Again, she's not a final authority on anything. Her entire role is to advise whether or not things violate Senate procedure. And it's not supposed to be a partisan role. So why is she trying to strip out most of the, the epic parts of Trump's agenda? I mean, if she's not partisan. I mean, don't tell me that they all just happen to violate the Byrd rule. This is a residual Democrat in a perceived position of authority telling the U.S. Senate, Republican-held U.S. Senate, that was elected by the American people, that they can't put certain things in a bill. They make the laws, not you, lady. She, of course, did add that all of the above items could be voted on, but would require a 60-vote majority, basically dooming them anyway. But the Senate just takes her word for it. They could just not listen to her, or they could fire her. It's all allowed, as Senator Tommy Tuberville and Congressman Greg Steube are noting. Tuberville saying, did Harry Reid's Senate parliamentarian not get the memo? President Trump's landslide victory was a mandate from 77 million Americans. The one big beautiful bill delivers on that mandate. The parliamentarian is trying to undermine the president's mandate and should be fired. I agree, Coach. Now, to be fair, Bernie Sanders did once call for her also to be fired when she blocked the raising of the minimum wage in a COVID bill. But then again, what's the point of having the majority if a single unelected person can tell you what you're allowed to vote on? Folks, this sounds like inside baseball, but This is the reality of what's stopping a lot of Trump's agenda in his first term and now. Democrats are using judges, they're using social pity campaigns, and even parliamentarians to get anything to stop Trump's agenda. Chuck Schumer forced the reading of this entire bill as a delay tactic.
Republicans are scrambling to pass a radical bill released to the public in the dead of night, praying the American people don't realize what's in it. If Senate Republicans won't tell the American people what's in this bill, then Democrats are going to force this chamber to read it from start to finish. I object.
I find this hilarious because it's the same Chuck Schumer, when not grilling and putting cheese on barbecues that are not cooked, he almost blew a gasket on Senator Ron Johnson in 2021 when he forced the reading of one of Biden's $2 trillion COVID relief bills. What gives, Chucky? He also said it was an unnecessary delay tactic intended to obstruct. Really? Democrats don't like this bill for obviously a number of reasons. At the top of the list is that Trump would actually get what he wants, which includes a massive tax cut for the American people. Is the bill perfect? No, but it's a lot better than what we got. But they're being opposed to everything in this, including reforms that it brings for illegal migrants. One of which is that 1.4 million illegals will be kicked off Medicaid, which is one of the last incentives for illegals to come here, not yet squashed by Trump. That was under this woman's advice to the Senate, just failed a 60-vote threshold to be added to the bill, 56-44. So as of this moment, as of a little while ago, it doesn't look like it's actually going to be in the bill anyway, unless they tell her to pound sand, which they should, and do it on a 51-vote majority. And you may be thinking, why would anybody, even Democrats, want illegals to receive taxpayer benefits? Well, because Democrats need those illegals here. Why? To bolster their congressional districts, which is also why they're freaking out about this, that Trump may actually remove illegal immigrants from the Census Bureau. This would decrease the number of allocated congressional seats in blue districts, likely redistributing them to red states. Think about this. Democrats have spent billions of our tax dollars bringing them to big, huge blue cities that are completely unaccountable, and that would be all for nothing. That's really why Democrats are so opposed to Trump's agenda and especially his crackdown on illegal immigration, because it could really cost them the House pretty much indefinitely. But this parliamentarian could single-handedly block that, or seems to have blocked that provision that could stem the flow of illegals into these congressional districts.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.